This book represents a brand new direction for me as an author. It is a deep exploration of a man's quest for a more liberal faith, and it's my modest attempt to explain, through a novel, the confusion at the heart of any belief system. Through my main character, a conflicted minister, many philosophical questions are deeply pondered. I believe spirituality can be sought and manifested in many different and creative ways not always conforming to conventional definitions and requirements. I believe this shows through clearly in the book. How one organizes one's own faith foundation can be an arduous and almost unbearable challenge. I believe there are many ways to have faith and hope, and that there are many different directions we can take for the answers to the big questions in our own lives. One of my favorite authors, Dan Brown, once remembered that when he was a child, he was very perplexed with the contradictions arising from science and religion. He had a very inquisitive mind and once asked a priest about which story is truer, the Big Bang or Adam and Eve, and the priest responded, "Nice boys don't ask those kinds of questions." That made him want to question more. Brown also stated in a recent interview that he tried to make his books taste like ice cream but have the nutrition of vegetables. It may soon become apparent that I don't have the writing skills of Dan Brown, and people may get a significant quantity of vegetables from me. Eat your peas. My book may not be something that grabs your attention but rather grows on you very slowly. I admit that this is a very different kind of book. There are heavy themes of free thinking and spiritual uncertainty carefully integrated into the book, but I want to emphasize strongly that I have great respect for anyone who has reverence for a creator or a god, and I don't think it is anyone's business to intentionally disturb anyone else's stable spiritual worldview. With the onset of almost exponential technological change and information sharing in this modern world of ours, the ways in which we practice faith will have to change. Artificial intelligence and technology, for example, will create profound challenges for the faith community in the not-so-distant future. It is my hope that we can make these needed transitions in the most humane and compassionate ways possible, always remembering the greatest commandment of Jesus: love one another. Faith will always exist, and should exist, even in radically different forms. I am as concerned as the Christian author C.S. Lewis was, that a world of pure materialism could lead to a dangerous sense of determinism. Lewis was very worried about reducing worldviews to actions, emotions and perceptions to pre-existing physical causes all the way back to the Big Bang. Lewis found this to be a narrow and frightening worldview, one that does not have to appeal to a supernatural source. God would not be required to explain or define origin, meaning, ethics or diversity. I am deeply concerned about this bottom-dropping out phenomenon with technological change happening at breakneck speed. There is a real danger that this important sense of monism would be lost with a purely mechanistic or reductionistic view of the world. I believe appreciation for the infinite value of life must always be paramount. I strongly feel that we must save our connection with the spiritual at all costs, otherwise we are doomed. Numinous represents a new direction in writing for me, different than the theme of autism which dominated my first two books. Author Philip Roth once told an audience, "You write differently in each book. It may appear to be similar to readers, but you're a different writer in each book because you haven't approached that subject before. And every subject brings out a different prose strain in you. Fundamentally, yes, you're contained as one writer. But you have various voices. I hope that my novel will spur new and important questions about faith, truth, beauty and love." Roth also reveals this kind of open-mindedness when he says that it is important to be freed from a narrow perspective on life and to be lured into imaginative sympathy with a fully developed narrative of view not my own. In his book To Love and to Be Loved, author and philosopher Sam Keen told us the quality of our lives can be judged by the questions we ask. He instructed us to trust what moves us most deeply. The science versus religion debate moves me deeply, and this passion, I believe, is reflected in my book. There are so many awe-inspiring questions to ponder in this amazing world of ours. I believe it is immensely important to always retain a powerful sense of wonder about life. The late Pulitzer Prize-winning author John Updike once told Charlie Rose that the foundation of a great writer is the strong belief that one has something important to say. I believe Numinous has something important to say. My best hope for this book is that it takes on a positively poignant, vivid and bright significance, that it will be a story that will get people to think in new and creative ways about spirituality. I also hope the book carries with it a sense of timelessness. Love is like infinity, you can't have more or less infinity, and you can't compare two things to see if they are equally infinite. Infinity just is, and that's the way I think love is, too. Fred Rogers.